Creative Theory Podcast.
Feeling like a DJ in here. What's up, people? Welcome to Creative Theory Podcast, the show that brings you conversations with visual artists about how they got to where they got, what their day-to-day is like, what their struggles are, thoughts in the art world, and a lot more. Today, feeling very lucky to have this fella in studio. He just does way too much, so I hope we figure out some tricks here, but he's an illustrator, comic book artist, musician, works in the animation industry, Vancouver, BC, Canada. Stefan Tosheff.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thanks for joining the show. Is that intro pretty accurate?
Yeah, man.
What else do you do? I'm sure you do too many things.
Like lover, fighter.
There you go.
Yeah, that's basically it, I think. Those are the things that I can pull off.
And also, I read on your website you like singing people's names.
Yeah, I often do.
Okay. Multi-talented. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, you have the full-time job, the band, comic books, illustration, and and a bit of life somewhere in there.
Yeah, there's some life in there.
How does your week look like?
I work a normal 9 to 5 animation job, so that's full time. And then after work every day, I usually just don't get to go home. I go home at when it's late, because I'm working on a different thing. I'll stay late at work and work on a different project that I have to do.
Oh man.
Or I'll be at band practice, or I'm a pretty social person, so I'm usually out with friends if I have nothing to do. Which just means I'm tired all the time. I've never felt rested.
Is that your default answer? How are you tired?
How am I tired?
Or is that your default answer?
Yeah.
You're just tired always?
Just always tired. My eyes are slowly sinking into my head. Soon I will just have James Franco's eyes. They'll just be just giant bags with slits with giant bags. That's all it's gonna be.
Tiny pillows.
Yeah.
You gotta work
Take a nap
look.
on these guys. So yeah, how you do it is that you just keep on going.
Without sleeping. Oh, no,
I sleep
Okay.
fine.
Just don't go home. I got it.
I don't watch a lot of Netflix and that type of stuff. I don't cook for myself very often. I eat out a lot because I'm never home.
You're saving the time, learning to do the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting beer. Wow,
Oh,
amazing.
cool.
Thanks, Daddy.
Thanks, man.
What a guy. Rock star. Thanks. This is how it goes.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that.
No, okay. That's all right. We're not going to complain about free beer. Thanks for making it because, you did say you're in the morning at a band practice right before this.
Yeah,
so
I was at band practice right before this.
It's a Sunday, too. You just don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I remember there was one day where I was I have a break today. I'm just going to do nothing all day. I'm just going to chill out. Went insane. I got so bored that I just started painting because I was I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I can't. The only time I ever watch movies is if I'm with a friend actively doing it, or I'm so sick I can't move. But besides that, I just get up and do something else.
I had the question written down. Yeah, when was the last time you had no projects on the go? That's when you go mad.
Yeah.
Start wondering about what life means.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of if I don't have a project, I make something for myself to do, because I just like making things. When I don't even think of it as work. I just it's just something that I do because it's more entertaining than not doing it.
That's very well put. Yeah. And do you feel like you have enough time for all of them, for all the projects?
No.
That's
I often think you know what, you should probably quit being in bands, but the moment I have a band that breaks up, I start a new one.
Yeah, that thing. You did say multiple bands, right?
Yeah, I'm in technically I'm in 3 bands right now, but they're all pretty chill, so it's not too much work.
You're just showing off now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That. Oh yeah, I'm in 3 bands.
Yeah, man. Just casually. And then I get. It sounds like you have a pretty good routine then.
I guess so. I never really know what's happening in my week. I just like I get up and I know that this day I have something to do it. I don't think forward a lot.
Mm-hmm. But these things just happen though. Well, especially with bands, so you got to line up with other people. That's the difficult part.
Yeah, that's true. I just make it happen.
Like a trooper.
Yeah.
And does it ever feel like a burden having the set routine?
No. Like often, like I would like to not do a full-time job so that I had more time to like do art projects that I wanted to do instead of drawing backgrounds for a cartoon that I may watch, but probably not. No. It's like it's cute, but
you're a titmos, but you guys make pretty good cartoons where they're not just for kids, right?
Yeah. This one is for kids, but it's like it's decent.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not upset about it.
Well, you know how if you look at the percentage of people that are happy to go to their work, it's such a minuscule or just such a small number. Where most of the time do you enjoy it? Or
yeah, it's okay. Like I don't mind it.
You don't hate it?
I don't hate it. It's like a better job. It's like the only job that I could do because I have no like actual skills besides drawing.
Well, art is it?
Yeah, no, but like
yeah, I got
to like normal people,
Okay.
like I when I worked at like a coffee shop, I was the worst barista you could ever have. And like when I worked at restaurants or anything, like I was always the worst employee, and not because, well, a little bit because I didn't care, but like also because like I just like I'm bad at stuff that isn't like art.
Okay. How long were you barista for? Or
like a year or two. Yeah, like 2 years, I think. Just because I was like, oh, I'm going to make art full time. So, like, I have to have a side job. And then, so I guess I never got good at being a barista because I was like, it's not my real job, though, which is shitty. That's not a good attitude at
but
all.
people get it. Did you learn to make a really good cappuccino?
No, I did not.
Oh, man. I thought you would get something out of it.
No, I got a lot of free coffee.
Okay. That's solid.
Yeah.
Did you, during those, you said during that year of doing the art and working at a coffee shop, did it work out? Did you like that?
It was okay, but freelance is hard, and, I was very young at the time. I just graduated.
Mm-hmm.
It's when we met, when we did that art show.
Mm-hmm.
What was it called?
Oh, yeah.
It was Features? Was it called Features?
Featured. Oh, yeah.
Featured?
That was a good one, man.
That was fun.
The good old days at Eden Gallery.
Yeah, that place, like, like, it had its flaws, but I also really liked that space, and doing an art show there felt like a real accomplishment, especially being like, how old were you, like 24 or something? Like,
I don't know how long ago that was, but
something
like that.
It was a long time ago now, and that was like, that's the first time I ever made like fine art on like, and I made a lot of it too.
We worked so hard. That was a huge. I mean, it was a big space, and even like 5 of us or something like that still had to fill up so much.
Yeah, it was actually kind of nuts. I remember like I showed up and Drew was like, "Hey, so you're gonna do a mural?" And I was like, "Oh, I am."
You volunteered for it.
Yeah, but like he didn't even tell me like I was volunteering. I just showed up to hang my art, and then he was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Good thing I took the day off."
Oh, but you guys did great though.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that piece.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to it.
They just it
disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, with that work on that scale,
you can't sell it to anybody because like
you can try. But
it's like where are they gonna put it? It was like 15 feet long.
Yeah. That was fun. I have really good memories of it because I feel like I was kind of naive about the art world as well.
It was like your first big thing too, right?
Yeah. I just made a bunch of art that I thought was cool. Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, that was a very interesting time. Just like because I was just painting on my floor in my room, making those paintings, and to try and figure out like a style that was like time efficient that I could finish it, that was like appealing. I don't think I was completely successful. Some of the pieces worked out better than others, which was cool. But yeah, that was an interesting time, and I haven't really done fine art since then. Like I have done personal stuff, and I've done little paintings for like one-off shows and stuff like that. But it would be cool. I wish I had the time to do something like that again.
Well, I think the way you do it, I'm sure you'll find the time. You just make space for everything, or you can't fit another one.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I would love to paint still, but I just don't have time to do that. Like, it's like, what can go? Oh, reading and painting. Those things I can't do anymore because I do not have time.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud I own one of your pieces hanging at my place. That was cool. And that was from Peter Reeks. Actually, well, another comic book artist, well, among other things, and musician too. You two guys, actually.
Yeah, actually, I feel like he's a more impressive version of stuff that I do because he just does even more somehow.
I don't know, man. I think both, well, maybe that's what, from my perspective,
right.
You two are just,
just
nonstop machines. But I thought, didn't you do an art show at Cartem's?
I did do an art show. I forgot about that.
You forgot. It was like, oh, you haven't done an art show since. I'll remind you. It's okay. I'll be right here.
I did do that. That was cool.
That stuff looked great. It was gouache, or what was it?
It was all watercolors. It was like really bad quality watercolors. But like it didn't matter because like I managed to like I used them because you could use like you could get really bright colors that you wouldn't be able to get from like a normal watercolor. Like they were like poster paint almost for some of them. So you could get like a neon green, which is like something you can't really get out of watercolor. But yeah, that was cool. And I was trying to figure out something that like breached the gap of like different audiences. So I was like trying to do fine art, but I wanted to do some like they were like, can you do something like superhero-y like comic book stuff?
Which
and I was like, that's what I do a lot. But so I thought maybe I'll like just do paintings of like action figures. So that was like kind of a cool little thing.
It looked awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Some of those turned out really well, and other ones I was like, not so great.
I think it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you use the word, you're describing it as fine art. What's fine art in your mind when you're comparing that versus illustration?
I guess just like usually when I say fine art, for me it means just like a painting that isn't, illustrate, like it's not illustrated for a thing. It's like just a painting that you made. Like that's how I feel about what I consider what I do fine art.
Yeah.
That's like my line. That's not the definition of fine art at all.
It?
But I don't know, man.
You tell us.
I don't think.
Now it is.
And now this is what fine art is.
We can go update Wikipedia right now. They'll let us.
But yeah, like for me, it's just like getting to paint and be like, even if like sometimes like I'm not always trying to say something because it can just be you can make stuff that's just aesthetically pleasing, but usually like it's usually when I actually physically paint something and not just like a digital illustration that I did for like an album art or something or a T-shirt. That's the line for me.
Those are and the poster art you do is really cool too.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. No, I do hope you find time to do more fine art in your definition.
Fine art.
That stuff looked really cool. I think your use of color was great, and I can see how that probably translated from working on comic books because you're using those rich, saturated hues.
Yeah, I do tend to go bright with my colors. That is true. But yeah, I would love to paint again. It's just hard to find the time.
I'll just start sending you text messages. I'll set a reminder. Hey, are you painting? And I want to get back to the routine a little bit more. What have been have there been pitfalls of doing so many things? Because
So besides exhaustion?
That's accepted, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I spend a lot of time with my friends, but I would like to see them more.
That's what I was telling you before we got here.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I want to spend time with everyone, and I can't.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I want to be there and like hang out and experience like my friends more than I get to, and like I do see my friends a lot, but
never
like
also.
And I would like to be able to like go on more trips, go home, see my family, like, but there's no time. There's never any time.
Then is it worth it? Do you ever wonder about that, like the pursuit of art versus
I
life?
feel like it's at the end. At least I'll know that I lived a lot, like. being super busy like makes your life disappear really fast.
Oh yeah.
It's just time flies when you're like living like this, but also like it makes it rich in a lot of ways. And like I'm doing stuff that I like, so it's not like painful to do it. If I was like had some job that I hated and like didn't have any creative output, I would be so miserable. So like there are some pitfalls to it, but I don't think they can never outweigh. Oh my God, that guy almost went in front of a car. Oh geez, that was real close.
Should remind everyone we're on Hastings Street in Vancouver, BC, Canada at Save On Meats, and we see people almost getting killed. Last time I was doing this, police stopped by in the booth and told us someone drew a gun on a person in front of this.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Love that.
Anyways.
Yeah, Katie said she was here, and that someone almost died just from a heart attack on the street right out here.
God.
There's like a whole ambulance. It's so scary to see that type of stuff.
Yeah. Just use it as inspiration. Use it as fuel for your art.
Yeah.
Either that or otherwise, how do you deal with these?
Yeah, you have to channel. You have to channel something somewhere.
Okay, we got it. So you're talking about pitfalls of it. Okay, yeah. And then I thought it was interesting that you said that if one of the things were to go, it would be the full-time job. That would be the first thing you'd lose.
That's the thing that I would, if I was if I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't do it. Like, it's a good job. I like it. I really like the people I work with too. I made a lot of friends there, which is awesome. And a lot of them are really great artists, so that's like a plus too. But yeah, I would like to be able to focus on my own art, finish my comic, be able to start a new one, you know.
You already got another one in mind, huh?
Yeah, I always have projects in my mind that I would like to do. And I wish that I could do them more. I would say the biggest pitfall of doing all too much stuff all the time is that I don't really get a focus on one for a long amount of time, you know. So stuff just takes longer to finish.
But as long as you get it done, though, I guess that's probably the most important part.
And I do try to actually finish what I start, so
that's huge.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with comics, it's incredibly difficult, and the fact that you're going on the fourth one is it's pretty good. I mean, you figured it out then. You know how to do it. Yeah,
I guess so. I feel like if I could just do that, I would have been done a year ago, you know. Yeah. I would have been done. I could draw 20 pages in a month if I had the ability to spend 8 hours a day doing it, but I don't. And
do you think you could do that?
As a career?
Or not just as a career, but actually do it 8 hours a day? Because I know for even including myself sometimes, I don't know if I, on weekends, if I go to the studio and do some fine art, oil painting or something like that, I don't know if I could do 8 hours. I would do 3, 4, and I'm like, oh, okay, felt good. That's a good session. Get time to get out. But maybe it is because oil paint. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I like to I don't mind working a whole day. It's if you take lots of little breaks and break it up, go for walks.
Well, it's not like we don't do that at work. It's just I found it interesting for whatever reason that it is. Yeah, with these passion projects. What are they?
Yeah, passion projects is a good way to say it.
And then because you're working on multiple projects at once, do you find it okay managing it in your brain, in your headspace? Do you have little pockets for each thing, or is it a big mess?
There's so much of me that it just when it's gone, it just disappears, and when it's back, it just comes to the forefront. Okay. There's not a lot of. I don't have a super active brain.
There's no anxiety there about just trying to get everything done?
I mean, there is under the surface, I guess, but that's maybe the only thing that I ever get nervous about. Getting all my stuff done is the only thing that I'm I just want this to be over so I can do a new thing now. Yeah. So sometimes that gives me emotions and feelings, but
what are those?
Yeah.
There were occasionally get those.
Yeah, from time to time. But yeah, no, I would say it's not a big problem because I'm barely sentient. I'm not an anxious overthinker type of person, and I'm not 100 miles a minute like have a thousand thoughts type of guy.
And then you were saying, I mean, you do it just because that kind of makes sense. It's what you do, like all these creative projects. But do you know where your motivation comes from in general?
No, I don't know. I just
Who am I?
like I just have to do it. It's just like
okay.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's just when you do talk to artists and when those questions come up, meaning like if people were looking for advice.
Yeah.
As far as motivation goes.
I don't know. Like, it's when people are like, I don't feel motivated to make art. I'm always like, I have nothing to say to that. Like,
then don't do it.
Then don't do it. Like, do something else. There's enough people making art. That's not true. Everyone should be making art. But
really,
like,
that's your stance?
I think so. I mean, just for like
release.
Yeah, just that like it's good for your soul. Like, it's like it's makes your life better if you have that creative output, even if you're not doing it for anybody else. It's just like a nice release.
I actually want to ask you about that because it does feel like, especially with independent publishing and just overall, at least, I imagine North America with people, I don't know, having more time and having the tools to create their own, like especially like graphic novels or short films, etc. Do you feel like there's oversaturation of it?
Well, I guess, but I think it's a good thing. It just means like if you want to be good, or you want to, make waves in any way, you just have to make something that's actually like really good. Like,
do you want to make waves?
Yeah, of course. Everyone wants to affect the world in some way with what they make, I think.
And so when you mean make waves, it's not just being known, it's actually making a difference with it. Is that what you mean? Yeah,
making a difference. People will notice it because it stands out, because it's good. Okay. Like there's a lot, I guess there's like with media and art nowadays, like a lot of people can rise in popularity if they're good at like networking and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But I don't know, I'd rather just make something good, And
do you put that pressure on yourself when you work on something to not just make art, but make art that's actually going to make the wave?
Yeah.
Do you think that?
I want to more. The older I get, the more I want my things to actually mean something. Like my comic even is like, I started it as basically practice, and then it just picked up momentum, and now I have to finish it. And it's like, I don't think it has like a real big, deep meaning that will like affect someone emotionally in a big way, but it is a fun actiony romp type of thing. It's and comedy, it's comedy. It makes you it's like it's candy, so it's like it feels good. So like that feels good to like make something that people like and like makes them feel good when they read it. But I think like in the future going on, I want to make things that actually mean something to someone in an important way.
I have two questions. Do you have examples of, when you're talking about that kind of art or that kind of project, does something come to mind where you look up to?
I have a lot of or what do you mean, like?
So that actually affected you in, the way you want your work to affect others. Like, can you bring up something that affected you in the way you want your work to do it? Meaning like in a deeper way, not just superficial. Is there something that comes up?
Yeah. Well, I often think of like comics or movies, and just because that's the type of stuff I kind of work in. So, like the last movie that I saw that like I was watching it, and it made my heart grow like 3 sizes was Joe and the Volcano. Or is it called Joe versus the Volcano or Joe and the Volcano? It's like, I think it came out in like 88 or something. Wow. It's a Tom Hanks movie, which is weird, but it's like, it's just like this guy's this guy finds out that he's like dying, and it's just his journey, but it's really whimsical, and like it's like a heightened reality, and it really like a lot of it like really spoke to me, and that was like I want to make something that makes people feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Was it live action?
It was a live action movie, yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. The director has only made 2 movies ever. He made
crazy.
that and Doubt, which is a very different, it's a very different vibe.
Do you know why he's only made 1 movie? 2 movies?
I don't know.
Because that would be so interesting. Imagine you make 2 movies, but both of them are just like hits, such big. Or
Yeah, I think he made 2 really good movies. So
he's like, I can't do too much pressure.
Yeah, I could not say. I don't know the inner workings of this man's mind.
But it's just really interesting. Meaning, if that happened to you, imagine you just.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I wonder.
Just making one really good thing and being like, peace.
I did my best work.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. That's like a super cool power move to do.
Yeah.
Like, look at this amazing thing I made. Okay, later.
But you wouldn't be able to give it up, though.
No, there's no way. I would make something terrible
but that's
after immediately.
It sounds like I'm imagining this guy who's just too good at everything. He's like, well, I'm going to go into space, land on Mars, and then I'll be back. And while I'm there, I'll write an orchestra. It's going to be...
Yeah.
Try to, like, top Mozart, and then I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches.
When you're saying that you want to try to make these more impactful projects, does it put a lot more pressure on picking what to start?
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I haven't even started anything that is like that yet, you know? Like, I guess, like, I get to make music, so that intrinsically is, like, a pretty emotional thing when you listen to it. So, like, you get a lot of that, like, release from that. And, like, but when you're, like, doing comics and you're trying to tell a story, like, you're literally telling a story. It's, like, you can do something that's, like, I don't know, meaningful because to people in a storytelling sense, you know?
In a really structured way, too.
Yeah,
right?
in a structured way.
But I think that's what makes it also more difficult.
Yeah, makes it a lot more hard.
Have you had writing lessons? Or
No, I don't think... I wouldn't say I'm, like, even a writer, even though technically I write my comic book.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, it is interesting. I don't really think about, like... storytelling as in writing because I'm so visual, but it is. You are writing. So that's, I don't know, that's kind of interesting.
So, but do you write out your scripts before you draw, or you just start drawing?
Oh, I just kind of, like, plot it all out in my brain and then rough it.
Yeah.
Do, like, little thumbnails of the whole thing and then go in and, like, figure it out a bit better and then write all the dialogue that I think should be there, like, roughly, and then I draw it, and then I go back and be like, okay, well, let's make these jokes funnier type of thing. Like, I often draw things and I'll be like, this is where the punchline of the joke is, even if I don't know what the joke is, but, like, I know the vibe that I want to have in that moment, and then I can, like, write 3 different jokes and then be like, oh, I should use this one here, or that's just an example of how I kind of do it in for my Minerva's Map comic.
That's interesting that you do start so much with the art. I mean, it makes sense, like you said, especially being so visual.
Yeah.
That's why I find writing is such a, it seems so tough. I mean, there's many approaches, right? If you know where you're going with the story, I think at least you already got, step 1.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, when I started that comic book, I had honestly no idea what was going to happen. I just kind of, like, had a rough idea of how I wanted it to feel, and, like, I would draw, like, the first 5 pages of it, and then be like, I don't know, what should happen next, and, like, figure that out. But, like, somehow I ended up setting up a whole plot.
That's cool.
By doing that, and then I had, like, then I got all the ideas to write the rest of it.
It's interesting how a lot of the really good projects do start out that way. I think even, I remember reading an interview with Mike Mignola, how it was just, drew some demon dude, and then what does he like? What does he do? And then he keeps going that way. Yeah. Which makes me think, because your next project, you want it to be a lot more impactful or emotional. Yeah. And now you have that pressure on you. I'm curious to see how it works.
Yeah, I will have to actually plot it out, and I'll probably work with my friend who, like, is my editor, and he's a really good writer. So I'll probably just work with him so that he can be like, no, don't do that. That's a stupid idea, and I'll be like, thank you.
Would you rather work on someone else's idea, or you really want it to be yours from completely?
I don't mind working on other people's ideas. Like I did like I would do comics that someone else writes.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna make my own thing, I want to make it
All
good.
yours.
Yeah. Because like drawing comics is kind of like you get a direct. It's like being a director, right?
Totally.
So.
For that reason, especially, I think it seems really fun because, and I don't think most people realize it. I mean, I think comic books now are, maybe getting a better rep with all the movies and everything, but
Yeah.
maybe not still. But I think what people don't realize that, you're really thinking about camera work and mood, and then if you're writing that, I mean, you got your structure and the character arcs, and then you're thinking out even just the page structure. To me, I remember learning that more than a couple of years ago, but it was so fascinating that you can create timing through the way you lay out your pages, meaning like you actually, even though it's a static medium, you can actually create length and sense of time. You could do some. It's really complex.
It is really complex, and like I've spent the last couple of years like really studying it and making sure that like that I know exactly what I'm doing and there's intention behind the shots that I choose.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it is interesting. I did recently like worked on someone else's script. I did a Captain Canuck comic for like a free comic book day. It's coming out, I think. And it's like 8 pages, and it was really cool to do it because it's like working on a script that wasn't mine, and I had to do like research to figure out what the characters like looked like. I had to read all this stuff about this character that like I only kind of knew, and like I didn't get to design any of the monsters or the characters, but I also like got to decide what every shot looked like.
You got to be the director of this movie kind of thing, right?
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting because I actually like it's the first time I've had to work with a colorist because like I didn't have time to color it myself, so we had to send it to somebody. That's is like kind of cool because like I was really nervous about it because I color all my own work usually.
You're precious with it.
Yeah, and also like if they don't like, I feel like my artwork needs to be colored in a certain way, otherwise it won't read properly or like it won't look. It's like drawn in a certain way to be colored a certain way.
Especially once you've done it for a while and you know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see comic book artists, especially pencil artists, drawings when they know, if they know they're ink artists and they got that good relationship. Half the stuff you don't get because it's just little crosses. Like, okay, this is black, but to most people, you're like, what is? Why? Did you not finish this?
Yeah, it's like, what? This isn't finished. But then they just send it to the inker. The inker like will make it amazing. That would be so scary working with an inker. Maybe they would make my art look way better. Maybe.
But see, that's what I feel. I think if you get a really good artist, it must be so exciting. I don't know if you find that at your full-time job, because you said you work on backgrounds, right? Yeah. And do you do color or line? Or
I just do line. So I just do. Yeah, I'm a key designer, so I just draw. I just design like the main scenes in the show.
And when you see the colors, is it usually pretty great? Or
I
don't know if you want to hate on that.
No. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is great, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know why you did that. But also, like, it's not always like it's never my call because and also there's like the art director sends over like the colors they want for this thing, which often like I think about that, it's like, oh, that sucks. The key painters don't even get to decide what the color palette of this scene is going to be.
It's kind of silly, huh?
Yeah, it's like your job is to just like render stuff at that point, and that's very wheel in the cog.
I feel like for a creative person, that's not a good one because then you're just a tool, right?
Yeah, and like that's kind of a bummer. Luckily, like I got to do the pre-design with my other friend at work for the whole show. So all the designs are based off something that we already drew that we read from a script.
That's awesome.
It's cool. But often like the storyboarder will do something and you'll be like, that's not what that's supposed to be.
Oh, dude, we've dealt so many times.
Yeah. Working
with designers especially, and sometimes they draw out how their designs are supposed to function, and then you'd see it 3 months later in animation because it would be 3D projects.
Yeah.
You'd be like, why is the thing flipped the other way?
Yeah.
That's not one of the guys designed the hammer, and they're supposed to be like the main part, and the whole show they ended up just using it the other way. Like
Right.
actually, you watch this cartoon, those are funny. The reason I brought that up in the first place is because when the artist after you are really good, and you just seeing like something you started being just plussed and getting better and better, and with every iteration, it's so exciting.
Yeah, that is really exciting.
That's why I wonder if you get a really good colorist, then you probably just can't wait for those things to come back.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah. Also, like, it made me kind of like rethink about how I drew a little bit. Like, it would be like I drew how I would draw to color it, but if I get someone that I don't know to color it, I guess I should draw in a way that like makes it easy to just if even if they do a bad job, it can still look good. Not that this colorist did a bad job, because they didn't, but it was just like really interesting to see that.
Well, it's very specific, right? And I guess it's a kind of relationship you probably want to establish and take slowly before you actually commit to working with that person, right?
Yeah.
Unless you just dig their work and you don't care. I feel like there's certain artists where I would just, there's certain artists that are so good, I'd be like, let's do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you want. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, you're just that good. Going back to, because we were talking about the kind of spacing. I really like latest. I don't know if you. I think you're a Hellboy fan, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, so the Duncan Figueredo stuff that they did,
I love his stuff.
that was, I feel like, one of my favorites, and especially I think in the later two, like I got the big volumes, but later on, just the way they captured mood was so well. And I mean, in those books, the way the colors work, and I mean, it's everything, and I think works so well. But I remember being just so impressed, and that's where I was trying to figure out how they especially laid out the panels for it to feel moody and lonely and long. And
those guys are like the kings of mood. It's incredible what they can do just by like, you can see like Hellboy walking through like some desert landscape, and then just like a single shot of like a falcon in a tree, and you'll be like, oh, I feel things.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
But that's just like aesthetic choices to make you feel a certain way, which is super cool.
Yeah. And I think that's where simplicity plays a part. I think by Simplify, you probably can capture the exact mood that you want without really messing with everything else too much. Yeah. But I imagine like if you got to work with those guys, you'd be like, just do your thing.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine. I'd be like, no, don't look at me. I can't look directly at you.
They're just people.
Yeah, I know.
They're just people who think they suck, probably, because they are artists.
Yeah. I actually really like interviews with Mike Mignola, because he's always like he like disses himself so much.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. You're like, you think, because like he's like one of the, everyone loves his art.
Yeah.
Like
iconic, so iconic.
He's made like people rip him off because he's so famous, and he'll just be like, yeah, I drew it like this because I can't draw feet. Yeah, he like just he'll talk about how he originally started working at Marvel, and he was like yeah, like I was like one of the worst people there at the time, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
No, but it is interesting because his stuff wasn't popular in the early '90s, like the '80s, early '90s, because it didn't look like anyone else's stuff.
Yeah.
And then now it's like everyone loves it.
It's the thing. I guess it feels so fresh too, because a lot of things do look similar. Yeah. And he's breaks the mold. Yeah. And it's hard to do anything similar to him without people thinking you're copying him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even if you go into some, yeah, we're just nerding out on comic books here. I'm sorry if you're listening and don't like comic books. Yeah.
No, come on.
Yeah, pick up a Hellboy book. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how your next project is going to work out, because it seems like, I don't know, and you look at bands too, where they just say, oh, we just started out jamming. That's kind of how it is. And then their first album is just like insane. Like, I don't know if it's Pearl Jam, and you name it. So many bands were just we're just hanging out, we're just friends, and then they made something incredible. Yeah, because there was no pressure to make something, right?
Yeah, that it can be a really good environment. Like sometimes pressure is great, and sometimes it's really relieving, and then you can just like do something that you would not have done if you had like a time pressure or like people being like, this better be good. Like it changes how you work.
But that's why I wonder if it's better. Well, actually, that would be a question for you. Do you find it better that you don't feel like you have the pressure to make money with your artwork and music?
Well,
because you have a full-time job, or
I definitely don't feel pressure to. Yeah, because I have a full-time job and I'm doing art at it. Like, if people or if someone's like, "Hey, can I get you to commission this like piece of artwork?" and I'll be like, "Okay, cool," and they're like, "How much do you want for it?" and I was like, "Well, unless you can like pay me what I'm worth, just don't pay me."
yeah, I
like
can see that.
I'm like, I'll just do it for you, man. I don't want to like, and often like half of the time it makes it so that I can be like, I don't have time, I'm sorry. And
Because they're not paying you.
like, you didn't pay me, so it's like, and they're like, I would have paid you. And I was like, yeah, but like not enough. So like it's fine.
Well, I mean, for example, if someone, a publishing company comes up to and they say, let's do Minerva's map issue 5, you got 2 months.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, Minerva's map is getting published when it's done.
Oh wow. Awesome.
Which is cool. Mm-hmm. And luckily I'm working with someone that's like, there's no pressure to finish it like faster or anything. They're just like, when it's done, we'll put it out.
That's really cool.
Which is super cool. It's a Chapter House, which is a Canadian publisher.
Cool.
Which is cool. So that means it'll be like in comic book stores and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that would be nice to have a bit of distribution.
And it's going to be all 4 volumes in one?
Yeah, it'll just be a trade.
Nice.
And I think we're gonna do something like make it Tintin sized, so it'll be like bigger.
Oh, okay.
Like a bigger comic book format, so it'll kind of show on the shelves, which will be pretty cool.
And you're working all digital, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be a problem scaling up.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Yeah. Nice. Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but I have to finish it. But now I'm also like, I have to make it good too. Oh,
you don't think you're making it good now?
when I do the drawing, I can't take shortcuts, because I'm like, this is like going to be my first big thing that I'm putting out.
Just tell yourself, if Mike Mignola said he was not good,
yeah,
you're probably doing the same thing. You feel the same way.
I do feel the same way. It's funny, like I feel like I'll probably be like, oh, this sucks, and I'll do another thing that looks better, and I just like, because of like how my brain works, I'm like, people are gonna like the thing that I don't like.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Do you find that like people will be like, oh, this is my favorite painting of yours, and you'll be like, I hate that one. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Or the one you're not gonna show, or the one you're gonna throw away or something.
Yeah. Someone's like, that one's amazing, and you're like, I don't what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Do you ever find it hard, like when people like think their aesthetics are just so different, but they're not artists, and you can't explain to them why they're like not necessarily wrong, but like you'll be like, no, this is not a good drawing. Like, I don't know why you like this. Like, pertaining to maybe your own stuff, but they'll be like, that one's really cool, and you'll be like, no, it's not. It's bad.
But because of when they're looking at your work, is that what
yeah,
you're saying?
Okay, for you, like, do you feel like that ever?
I'm trying to think the last time I got that like personal direct feedback, and actually it's kind of weird now that I think about it. I guess it just shows how often I work by myself.
I mean, like, but like even at like art shows and stuff.
Yeah. It is interesting. I've noticed. I figured the last art show I did, there was one painting that everyone liked, and I don't think people really cared about anything else. Somehow, out of like 16 paintings, only one was like multiple people wanted to buy it.
That's crazy.
But nothing else. That was the only, and that's so in the and also trying to figure out what exactly happened there and why that became successful. And I could see why. I think part of the reason I do a lot of figurative work, and I don't think people want paintings of other people they don't know. So if you cover the face, it's more successful.
That's interesting.
Like if you make it ambiguous, and I've been noticing it in other people's work how if you like abstract the personality to make it be anyone, meaning if the face is kind of like, even there's like Benjamin Brooklyn art, if you just like you fade the face a little bit, get rid of the eyes, it's like all of a sudden now it's not a person, it's a thing. Almost. Yeah,
and they don't want like a painting of Greg in their house.
Exactly.
They don't like. I don't know Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have really bad breath. Like I don't know.
Exactly. So if you make it just something, and then another thing I think that worked was the just like use of negative space, which I think allowed for mood. I mean, these are kind of basic takeaways, but
yeah,
at least in that way it made sense, because something you're talking about is like sometimes it doesn't make sense why people like certain things.
Yeah. Oh, and like it's good to like think about it and like why do they like this one? Yeah. What am I capturing?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like in that case I can get the takeaway and not feel like it's not the kind of takeaway where I realized here's a thing that sells, because it was more about why did everyone like this, and and I don't know, like even people who are artists thought that, and I'm just trying to figure that out. Yeah. But I'm trying to think. What came to mind though when you're talking about people liking certain art, and it makes you wonder why. We went on a trip with our friends, and one of them just kept like showing us the stuff. We were at a market, and it shows the stuff that she liked. It was like the most tacky work I've ever seen, and that was her aesthetic, and that's what she liked. And
yeah,
but that's where you really want. It's like, wow, we're just so different.
Yeah, it's a lot of times it's just difference, and it's like it's just what I mean. Like it's hard when people don't know why they like what they like.
Yeah.
Like I can usually tell you like why I don't like a painting or I do like a painting, and like I know that it's objective and it's just like how I feel about it personally.
Yeah.
But at least I can explain to the like why I like it or why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like just values, I guess, and I guess a lot of people just see something and it gives them a feeling, and they just go off of that.
And then that's a thing that you can't really explain, right? Or pretty hard to control as well.
Yeah. The heart wants what the heart wants.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well put. Really smart.
Thanks. I made that up. Totally original.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. I'll try. I'll put that quote when I publish this podcast. I'll just do it. Yeah, but so in general, do you find people typically picking the work in your the stuff you make, the ones you don't like?
Not necessarily.
Does it confuse you?
It does. It has happened, and I'm always like, I don't know why. This is the thing. And the thing that like the painting that I would like the most, or the drawing that I like the most, is the thing that like is like I have like a pile of prints of it, and no one will buy it. I'll be like, God damn it!
It's like I thought this was gonna be the hit. I made 300 copies.
Yeah, I thought everyone was gonna love this shit, but
yeah, no. That's definitely happened. The first print I made, I thought I was so excited for, and I think I sold 2.
Yeah, yeah, that checks out.
There's still somewhere. I mean, I don't know, and that's when it makes you wonder, like, am I really that off?
Yeah.
Or how? Yeah. And it's not like it's not like it was the weirdest subject matter. It's just, I guess maybe you just like weird things.
Maybe I'm just a big weirdo.
Yeah. And
I never knew. I've always known. I'm a big weirdo.
You knew, yeah.
I always knew.
You're artsy person. You definitely know. I like it seems like in your, actually, well, before we keep going, if you want to check out Stefan's work, it's StefanTosheff.com, Instagram, same thing, 2 F's at the end. Look him up. Good stuff. But I really like how a lot of your work is line driven, or I'm not like I like line art a lot. I'm not big on rendering. I find it like kind of boring. Like I like to like just show a shadow to make you feel like the thing's 3D rather than like render it out. Just a big like I'd rather just have a black line that means that this arm's closer to you rather than have like put atmosphere and stuff in. Like that stuff's cool, but it takes a long time, and it sounds really efficient too, right? And I think it's like a clear language to show it with. Do you know? Have you read those Hawkeye books? David Aja. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I can see. You guys are doing different things, but I think because you're keeping your colors typically pretty clean and you drive your work with the line, works out so nice. But one day maybe you and him collaborate.
No, that would be cool.
I'll get that book.
He's way too good to collaborate with little me.
No, but that's why I think it's interesting to see how people take. I think it just shows you that there is ways to use the same technique and get different results, but with the same mindset. You know what I mean? Like you're going clean lines, you're using black shapes, just really whether you're dropping things into the back or simplifying the composition.
Yeah. Well, I find with comics it's really important that you make it easy to read, because the whole thing is like you're trying to tell a story, and if someone can't tell what's happening, then you're failing. Well,
because there's definitely a trend, I mean, opposite to what you just described, where it's like over-rendered, you got 10 million tiny little ink lines on, especially the superhero stuff is just, there's ones that are just over the top.
There's some stuff, and then their paneling makes no sense, and you don't know where your eye's supposed to go. And there's like 100 word bubbles, and you're like, I can't read this. I can't tell what's happening.
They have 10 million abs and.
Yeah. And like, I think it's important to go like clean and clear so that when you read it, you can just like, you want to flip through it and not get through it and like read 20 pages in 10 minutes and be like, wow, that was a great story. And then you don't have to like it sucks like if you're an artist because you spent like I spent 2 months on that and they're like read it in 10 minutes, but like that's what you want because that's like how it makes you feel the correct way.
Yeah, it will be interesting to speak to an artist who does like to go over the top with the drawing and see what their thought on that is.
I feel like people that like to render, it's like quite meditative.
Yeah.
It's probably like it probably feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's just an aesthetic thing, I think.
Totally. Well, but then when you do think about time, though, because once again, you can go back and look at Mignola and be like, man, that was maybe it takes him long too, but it was like an efficient way of storytelling.
Yeah, it is very efficient, and you can always tell what's happening.
But I think when you're picking a style too, it's like how do you figure out an efficient way that's still, I guess true to you, and you find that balance between even if you do like rendering, how much do you let yourself without overburdening even like the viewer and yourself as well with the time that you're given. Yeah,
especially with comics, like I feel like that's definitely a factor. You have to find shorthands and effective ways of working that aren't gonna like suck up all your time.
Yeah, it's getting me excited about comic books.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing anything like that?
Recently, just last year. Kinda. And I think it's for that reason. How you're saying it's like it is like you're directing a movie or something. I like that aspect. I started as an animator, but I got to do some kind of boarding just for myself when you're planning out animate, and it was fun.
It is
I like
fun.
thinking about the cinematography and just playing with angles. So we'll see.
Yeah, it is cool. And then like it's what I like about it so much. It's like when you're making a movie or something, there's only I guess you can switch aspect ratios in your movie. Mm-hmm. It's jarring and I don't like it. It feels weird when people do that. But in a comic book, like every panel has a different aspect ratio and you can do whatever you want. And then so like you just make it so that it looks as good as it can.
And it just conveys whatever it needs to, right?
Yeah, so you can like change like this shot is like really long and skinny and this one's like really tall. Yeah. And like they're all on the same page and your eye can flow through it all and you don't even think that like it's if it was like a movie it would be like the weirdest like
and sometimes you lose the frame so there wouldn't be a frame, it would just be a clean blank. Good luck doing that in a film format. It's not going to happen.
Like can you imagine watching a movie that actually like looked like a comic book? Like
screen would scale up and down.
Screen would scale over the place. Characters would suddenly have no background at all, and just would be on a white screen while they punch somebody, and then they'd be back. And
hey, man, that would be kind of cool. That's like that would be the next step from the latest Spider-Man film. You just take that, and push it farther
from this Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, that's actually they did that pretty well. That was an amazing movie.
Yeah, because they did some frames where, I mean, I know unfortunately they're just frames where they actually like cut out the background flash and. It worked. I mean, they didn't go as crazy as what you're describing, but...
No, but that's actually a really good example of how it could work. Yeah. And I feel silly for not thinking of that movie that I love. Yeah.
You like that one?
Oh, so much.
It seems like you're a fan.
Yeah.
I've seen you do so much Spider-Man fan
art.
I
do love Spider-Man a lot.
What's your stance or, like, what are your thoughts on fan art? Because I was looking through your website. I love that Adventure Time illustration you did. So good.
Yeah, I do. I guess like technically it's fan art, but a lot of time it's just like, oh, this sells at like a comic convention, so I have this. What it was. Okay. And some or it's like I have it, or it's like just like I draw it as an example to send to like an editor or something, or like someone that works in comics so that they're like see that I can draw the stuff.
Are you often looking for that kind of opportunities? Like
I like if I'm gonna do freelance, I would rather work for like a comic book company rather than like I don't know, like packaging for like underwear, you know, of like course, I don't want to do like, not that I don't want to do those jobs because I do, but it's more fun to do. Like, I'd rather draw. If someone's like, hey, can you draw, like, I don't know, like Wolverine or something for me? I'd be like, yeah, I can draw Wolverine. That sounds like a very nice, fun, easy time for me.
You're gonna enjoy it very much,
and I'm gonna love it. And if someone's like, "Hey, can you like draw like a character that like I don't know what they look like?" That can be cool too, like because you get invented. But it's like you get to really enjoy the drawing when you don't have to make stuff up, because you can just like, you get to just decide on like, instead of like designing the character, you can just like kind of just, you know it already, so you can just whip it out, and then you just get to be meditative and draw this thing that you already know.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. You and there's plenty of other difficult things to play within there anyways.
Yeah. And it's like, it takes a lot of that one type of creativity out of it, but it allows you to just kind of be, I don't know, it takes a lot of pressure off of it, and then you can just kind of draw just for the sake of drawing.
Yeah. Oh, the fun times.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, because I've seen you do multiple, I guess, conventions.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've done a couple in the city. I don't know if you've been outside.
Yeah, I've done Toronto a couple times. But yeah, just Toronto and Vancouver usually.
How do you find that community?
Well, I tend to do the like VanCaf and TCAF, which are more like artist-driven conventions. So like everyone there is an artist. All the people tabling. There's not a lot of people in costumes walking around. Yeah. Which is great, because turns out I don't really like that stuff that much. I did the like big Comic-Con here in Vancouver, and I had a table, and like people were there because they were fans of like Harlequin or whatever. Like they're dressed as Batman. They don't care about the art though, which is like, to me, is like, it made me realize, it's like, oh, like I'm not like a fan of this stuff. I'm a fan of the art.
Actually, the art.
Yeah. Like, because like I don't like. I saw like 100 people dressed in like as like Gundams and stuff, and you're like, yeah, super cool. I'm glad that you like this, but like, you like this. You like the thing. You don't like the art behind it, you know?
Because they're just completely different reasons. What do people do though? Like, if you dress up and you go to a convention,
I don't know. Like, I guess to take pictures
Yeah.
with them. Like, I guess like there's people that cosplay as a job, so I don't know. Like, you must make some money some way. I'm not sure how. I haven't really looked into it.
I was gonna say, we got to learn about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. When I remember when I picked up your books, it was at VanCaf, right? I think it was. But man, going to that kind of events, just getting so overwhelmed, because there's 100 artists in a room, and they're all really good. And
yeah. I love it. Like, I love going to all the tables and like looking at all the people's stuff, and like the problem is like when people are like trying to hawk their stuff at you really hard, and you're like, I just wanted to check it out.
But that's what I want to ask is that are you good at selling your work?
No, I'm terrible at it. I'm so bad at trying to sell my own artwork. And people like will come up and be like, "Hey, what's your comic book about?" And I'll be like, "Just read it." I'm not gonna pitch you my idea.
No
like,
spoilers. Yeah.
I was like, I guess it's like they just kind of want to know. They're just being polite. They're just asking, but I'm like,
you're just being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm just a big butt. Well, yeah, I'm not mean or anything, but I'm always like, "Yeah, you should read it." Yeah, just like
that's great.
Yeah, because it's like, what am I supposed to? I'm gonna tell you the plot of my comic book.
You got to have an elevator pitch, man. What if someone's gonna want to make it into a movie?
I know, but I hate that. I don't want to do that. I mean, I would love if someone made my comic book into a movie, but like, I hate doing elevator pitches.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough with words in my mouth to do that.
Okay, well, you need an agent. We'll work on that. We'll figure it out.
I'll get an agent.
But the reason I wanted to ask you about the kind of the art community of artists, does it feel pretty? Because like you've done it many times. Does it feel like a pretty close community? I'm curious. Do you feel like you fit in?
It's easy to break in. Yeah, and I mean, like,
does it matter?
I don't think it really matters. Like, because everyone is like an artist, and even if like people are nice in general, I find, especially in that scene, because they're all just trying to like make art and sell it, and and I don't know. I've never really had trouble making friends, so.
Yet you have so many friends.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I don't have trouble making friends.
You capped your limit. Oh, you said you don't? Okay.
No, I don't.
I thought you said you did. I was like, okay.
I know. I don't have trouble making friends, so going to those type of things is like, it's pretty, I don't know, I find it pretty fine, but maybe that's just my attitude. Like, I don't know.
Did you enjoy, and in a comparison, doing the Art Breakers last year, how was that for you? Because
that was fun.
It's a different crowd too, right?
Yeah, it was, but also it didn't feel any different. It feels the same as that.
Okay.
You know, like.
Cool.
Just in comics, there's more nerds.
Is there anything you would like to see changed in in those conventions or the comic book conventions you've done?
I mean, I love TCAF and VanCAF. So I have no real like critiques for those. Like I like going to them. More good artists, the better. So
yeah.
Yeah, like, and VanCast's vibe changed over the years, and it used to be more like web comic stuff, which is like I'm not really a fan of. It's fine, but it's not for me. And now it's more like there's some cool artists getting to go, and like and stuff that I'm more interested in. So I'm liking those. I don't really do the big superhero comic book type conventions. Maybe I'll start to have to once my book comes out, but.
You'll have to, you think?
Yeah, I think I might, or at least I should.
And is it just to get it out there, or to make money?
just to get it out there, get eyes on it, and it'd also be good just to meet publishers and editors and stuff like that, just for future projects.
Sounds like it's gonna become a job.
Yeah, I probably should actually just do that.
Make it a job.
Yeah, make that my job. Hanging out. Being a cool guy. Hey.
Would you want it to be? But actually, like, would you want to turn that to be the full time? I mean,
just drawing comic books would be like, yeah, I think I would like that more than my current situation. They're not like I like what I'm doing, but it's like if I could make all my money off of drawing comic books, like of course I would do that.
How likely is it?
I don't think it's very likely,
no?
But I might. I think I actually might try soon to just do that.
Damn, that's exciting.
I might burn and crash, but I have a savings account, so
there you go. Oh, there you go.
I work a lot so that I can maybe actually try and make something of myself.
Yeah, that's the way to go, I guess. Yeah, that's gonna be really cool. Actually, dive into it. Completely. Yeah. I want to talk to you about your posters, 'cause, I mean, I guess you seem to do like for all the bands you're in.
Yeah, I use it as an excuse to make a cool idea that I had into a poster.
You have a really good sense of, I guess it's a sense of design. And I saw that you did go through the idea program, right?
I did, yeah.
How was that?
It was pretty good. I mean, I made most of my best friends there.
Capilano,
yeah, Cap. That's where I met Katie, my roommate, Katie.
What up, Katie?
And like
she's cool.
Yeah, she's fine, I guess. And like two of my other roommates, Dave and Jack, are like, I met them there, and they're like both great artists too. Even though that they both don't make art anymore for a living.
Happened?
Well, one works in video games, and the other one became a cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Video games, kind of. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He makes like the websites for the video games.
No, I just always wonder like the people who actually do stuff making art and they're good at it. It's like, man, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. They both make art, just not for money.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that's a better way to go.
Yeah, sometimes like I understand why people do that.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't, but I understand why.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was wondering. Yeah,
like I can't. I don't have any other options. Like I have to do this, otherwise, like it's just gonna be me. I'm gonna be out here on the street.
But so, if you had a choice to go back and pick a school, you still pick Cap? Was it? Did it feel like a good decision?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was worth it just because like it really enriched my life. Maybe only socially, but like it made me feel very at home here in Vancouver. It made this place like my new home, because I'm not from Vancouver originally. I'm from the island.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So now it's like it really cemented me here, and it led me to like all the art connections that I have now. Like if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have met you, because I met you through Andrew, and I went to school with Andrew.
That's right. You're all Cap people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it worked out very well, and like I did learn a lot, and just like there's just like a lot of design classes or like branding classes that I was like, I hate this. This is bullshit.
They advertised it weird, didn't they?
Yeah.
For what it actually turned out to be.
They make you think that you're gonna get to paint a lot, and you don't. You get to paint like maybe 1/3 of the time.
I looked at that school. I remember looking when you were going for the orientation. It did seem cool, but then having spoken with people who have done it, it feels like if you're going into illustration or painting or
it's not the best for that.
No.
But it is good It is good if you're design oriented, and if you love like typography, take it.
But that's why I was wondering, did that graphic design knowledge, did it come helpful? Because
it must have seeped in a little bit.
Well, it looks like you're making. I really enjoy those posters that you make.
Thanks, man.
Like a standalone illustrations, just so good. The one you posted recently for the Sabrina, what was it?
Oh yeah, I did it for. They had like a weird open house, like fake Sabrina's house that you could go into, and they were just giving out posters. I was originally supposed to be doing like a live painting there, because there was just like different rooms with different events going on, and like, so they wanted me to live paint, and like on the back porch. But then they were like, "Do you know what? Maybe just do a poster."
We don't need you here. We don't want to see your face.
Yeah, that was like it was a weird project. I ended up sending them 3 different finished posters, because they were like, "Can you just send us 3 ideas?" And I was like, "Yeah, but there's like no time for me to like get feedback and like, yeah, can you send 3 finished posters?"
Classic.
So I got paid for all of them, and they only used 1.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Can you show the other ones?
Yeah, they're on my Instagram.
Okay,
They're I just posted them around Halloween, so it just seems like spooky drawings.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Playing that Instagram game well.
Yeah, I try, but because like I work a full-time job and I draw comics, like those aren't things you can show on Instagram, because like I can't show my comic because it hasn't come out yet. So
you're not allowed to, or just wouldn't want to?
I don't want to. Like if I show something, it's like, well, there's a spoiler right there.
You just gotta post just close-ups of faces.
Yeah, which is like I do that.
I've seen that. Yeah, that's a tough part about work, right? There's you can't show anything while all your friends are just posting work.
Yeah, bastards. Like I would love to. Like nothing's worse than like you're like, oh, it's been a month since I posted any of my own artwork.
Yeah. I feel like it seems like either you struggle with that or just come at peace with the fact that you just can't. Show, and just keep going. It's
just like you want to, because like you want to keep on showing stuff so that like people will see it, so that you can get jobs in the future. But
that's why I wonder about you. Like, do you feel like you need more freelance work, or I guess if you are going to jump into comics, maybe you may need some.
I probably will if I start doing that, because right now it's like fine. Because I have one like maybe once a month that I just kind of do casually.
Because you probably don't have time.
I don't have a lot of time. Like if I had more like jobs, I'd be like, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But how I have it now, it's like if someone gives me enough time, I'm like, if you give me like 3 weeks to do this, I can definitely do this on the weekends.
You know how a lot of people have a problem where they would get drained at work, especially if you're working creatively.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on personality, but a lot of people, if they do work a creative job, going home and making something else seems to be a difficult thing for some people. Do you find that?
No.
You just
I don't have that feeling, because it's not like I'm not drawing. It's not the same thing. Like I'm just drawing like a chair, like at work, and it's just like this is. I don't get drained from like drawing like it's things in perspective. It's like it's not like scratching that creative itch really, even for me, so that like I still have energy to do the rest of the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, that's how I feel especially for fine arts. I mean, quotation marks, fine art. Traditional painting. When I go home, it does feel like a completely different aspect. Like it satisfies a different kind of creative need, right?
Totally.
Yeah. I guess in that way. But do you feel like you're practicing actually getting something out of your work through drawing skills, or does it?
Yeah, I think I actually gained a lot of drawing skills by, especially this newest job that I have at my work. Like, it really made me like learn my stuff. Like I had to
you need
really
the technical knowledge, right?
Yeah, it upped my draftsman game a lot. Still no good, but like I'm much better than I was, and like understanding just like how to draw things in perspective properly, which is, it's like crazy that I got that job, because I started and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing at all.
Did you tell them that?
No, I did not tell them that. I didn't realize it, but like they just came up to me and was like, hey, you're gonna be the new artist on this thing, and I was like, oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting, and I learned a lot really fast, and it was really hard at first, but it was worth it.
It does seem the better way to learn. Kind of, you have no options. You're thrown into it. Like,
Yeah.
Figure it out. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like I am still learning stuff at my job. Like it's still every day.
But that's why, as an alternative to, if you are going to have a job, this seems to be probably the best way to go. Even if you do want to make artwork during your free time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like ideally, like if I could work like 3 days a week there, that would be perfect.
You probably could though.
No, it's not really.
No,
the timeline crunches and stuff. It's impossible.
Yeah, some people figure it out though. I think it depends on the studio and your producer. But that, to me, that's kind of If you can make that work, that's so good.
Yeah, it is.
One day.
Maybe.
You know. But yeah, I had a question written down that you don't think, or do you think animation will be something that you keep kind of in a long haul in the future?
It could be. I honestly don't know at this point. Like I might change directories this year a little bit, but I also like if someone's like, "Hey, work on this show that's really cool," I might be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it."
Yeah.
Like if I get an offer that's really cool, then yeah, I'll stay to do something or go wherever it is. But currently, I think I would like a little bit of a change up. I might come back to it though. Nice. It's a good, solid job. You get your teeth fixed, get massages.
Yeah.
Medical is like an amazing thing.
You forget about how important it is if you actually have it or you don't.
It's a great feeling to not have to look at your bank account and start sweating. You know, like that's a good feeling. So, it's a hard thing to the idea of like not having that security is a little scary.
Mm-hmm. Did you originally, when you went to school, did you want to go that's where you wanted to head?
Yeah, I originally went into animation when I was 18.
Okay.
But I graduated during like the recession. So no one in my class got a job for like 2 years. It was so brutal. So I went back to school for illustration because I was like, I might as well.
Yeah.
Because no one will hire anyone.
Yeah.
All the studios are like closing down.
That was
So I went back to school. So I wanted to be an animator. I actually wanted to do like character design and storyboards, which is funny because that's not what I do now in animation. I just draw the backgrounds because I basically just needed a job because I quit making coffee because I hated it. So I needed a job. I was like, I'll just get a job in animation, whatever it is, it'll be fine. So I just got a random job and I just kind of ascended through those ranks.
But it's interesting that it does. You could do design if you wanted to, though. At this point,
I could,
because you've done so much of it.
Yeah, and I could do design. I would love to do character design. I would have to kind of make maybe like an animation portfolio for that. Well, I don't know how long that would take. Probably not too bad.
Just take your stuff from the comic books and throw it in there. I mean, you had to design everything for that. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, it would also be cool to work in video games and like concept art too.
Got to do it, but I'll be curious to see how you do that kind of work. Originally, I think when I met you, I kind of assumed you were doing that, just because seeing your personal work,
right?
You're doing it already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be waiting.
Yeah. I should try doing that too. I should try a lot of things. You know what? I'll just add 5 more things to the things that I do. Exactly. It'll be fine.
I think this is going to take away from our conversation. I know we started with saying you do a lot, but actually, no, you could be doing a lot more.
I could be doing more. You're right. Do you know what the answer is? I got to start doing drugs that make me just stay up all night.
There you go.
Yeah. Like coffee.
Well, you're already doing that.
Yeah, so I am already doing that.
You need to add something else to the... Then we'll get fine art from you. I was also wondering, how is your writing process compared at all to the way your drawing process is?
What do you mean?
When it comes to creating music versus creating
for writing music.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, I don't know. I usually I'll write. Sometimes I write songs all by myself, then give it to the band, and then we all work on it together. Sometimes I just have one idea, and then we just come in and work it out and come up with new parts to go around it. Or other times it's just like someone else has a song, and then I'm like, cool. I can I'll play it, or like I can write a thing over top of that. Nice. Like, So like it just depends, and it's different for every band that I'm in, and it's just like a lot of collaboration in music, especially if you're like in like I'm in like different types of like punk adjacent rock type of bands. So there's a lot of like back and forth, and everyone like there's not usually someone that's like the boss in the band. There are a lot of bands like that, but none of the ones I'm in.
It's better if there's collaboration, right?
Yeah, because you know you're some of the parts, you know, like you're greater that way.
But so then you don't find any. I guess it's so different. I was gonna say you don't find any themes that cross over between your visual art. Well, visual art and music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure someone if someone looked at it, I'm sure they could find something in there. But yeah, I it's hard to say. They're so different because one is music's sonic. There's no and art's all visual. So
yeah. But I just curious to see if thematically crossing over.
I'm sure there are themes, and I'm pretty sure like my general attitude and like personality comes through a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're like, I feel like if you're familiar with me, like, and you read my comic, you'd be like, yeah, everyone talks like me.
The humor, I think.
Yeah. It's. I've been told many times that like everyone just like hears my voice saying the jokes.
You should do the audiobook.
Yeah.
It'll be like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
As you flip the page, you hear your voice reading it.
Yeah. So like, I'm sure there's a lot of that in my music too. But I don't think I can really say that about my own work, just because like that seems it's more subconscious than it is conscious when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like for music, I think I may have spoken about this to someone here about how, as far as art making an impact, it feels like music out of all the mediums probably does the most, especially when you look at kind of repeatability in a way that most people are not going to want to. They don't have a desire to keep seeing the same painting all the time.
Yeah.
Or some people will watch a movie maybe a couple of times, but with music,
it's
it's
immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an immediate thing, and you hear it, and then you know exactly how, if you like it or not, and it, like, or if it like, and you can tell, like, I don't know. It's just very like instant.
But so to your point earlier, though, when you were saying you wanted to create something that makes a deep impact on people, that's probably the better way to go. Or
probably
one of the best ways to go.
I mean, but I already do that, and I don't know. I don't want to say that I don't want to say my music has like emotionally impacted anyone, because I don't know if it has. I don't make like super like very like deep, moody, thoughtful music. I make like fun. Yeah. I usually my bands tend to be more on the fun side, upbeat or fast.
Cool.
Not to say like the lyrical content's like jokes or anything, but like,
I guess that's why you have to leave the moody stuff for the
yeah.
book.
Yeah, I guess so. But I hope that like when people hear my music, they feel something. But I don't know.
They probably do, man.
I don't know.
I think it's the beauty about music is that you can respond to it. People just do respond to it so well.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be an artist to get it. Similar to like a really complicated painting. Do you have a 5-year plan?
I do not have a 5-year plan. I guess my 5-year plan is to try to make more comic books, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Is that? Yeah, it seems like the thing you would be doing if you had all the free time or all the money.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to buckle down a little bit and try.
I love that you're saying it.
Yeah.
You're doing so. Yeah, no, that's cool. Very inspiring.
Thanks, man.
Do you have an ideal lifestyle that you enjoy, or what will be your ideal lifestyle?
Like, what do you mean? Like hanging out on the beach with a...
Sure, yeah. What would it be?
My ideal life, I like. I don't
Narrate
know.
it in that voice, yes, please.
I'm not even sure. I love being in the city, and I love always having like options. But yeah, I would like to be somewhere with a bit more sunshine. But that's a tricky
one, huh?
I'm pretty easy to please, man. Like, my life is busy and hectic, but it's also like, I don't know, like I'm very happy. So I can't really like complain that much.
I love it. No, it's like you said, you're a very positive person, and it shows.
Thanks, man. If that's a compliment, I don't know.
No, it is, yeah. What's a recent piece of art that you got or purchased?
What was the last piece of art I purchased was not counting like comics, because I buy comics all the time. I'd say like I think the last thing I bought a Turby Wonder painting. I think he just posted it, and I was like just messaged him instantly and was like, give it to me.
Yeah, I remember. No, I'm trying to remember if I was supposed to pick up a painting too. Shit. Yeah, I remember he was putting. I don't remember if it was gone or not, but yeah.
Yeah,
that guy's pretty.
He
great.
Delivered it to me, so it was great.
Oh, it was special. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a special guy, I guess.
Okay, I see. You got that extra relationship. I got it.
Yeah, I have a lot of paintings by him actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of the few people that I'll like. I see their art, I'm like, no, I have to own that.
And I guess I can see why you'd like it too. He's got a really nice mix of painting and line work as well.
Yeah, it's so expressive, and he also has like really good anatomy when he chooses to, like, and when it's not. Sometimes he does like super exaggerated stuff, but
you can tell it's with the knowledge of anatomy. Though,
yeah,
and
exactly.
That's a great part. That's how it works the best.
Yeah, he knows the rules, so he can break them. Totally. So I appreciate that. I like how messy and like how creative like the stuff is. It's very textural and yeah. So usually if I find like when he has a good painting and it's like he'll put it up and it'll be like $200 and I'll be like, oh dude, come on, man, I have to buy this now.
But also I think it shows you that, I don't know if it's Vancouver or just kind of in general the state of the art world is like, his art is worth more, but then I don't know if it's here, I don't know if it's, I don't know if there's no gallery spaces, or the kind of art he makes is not even, a gallery wouldn't pick it up because, it's not super, well, maybe it is deep and sophisticated, but to them it's not. And so,
I don't know, because like I think his stuff's like amazing.
Oh, I love it too.
Yeah, so who's to say? Sometimes it's just like how you put yourself out there.
I guess, but it seems like so much more. I mean, both of us, I'm sure, know a lot of people in the city who, you would think they would be the most successful people in the art world, but somehow or whatever way it works, it just not. I don't know.
Yeah. If I had the answers, I'd give them.
Oh, come on, please.
I don't have them.
But that's why I think in fields like if you're in a comic book, like you choose to pursue that, or illustration, it's a little bit more straightforward. I mean, there's still like reasons you don't get why some people just pop. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but at least like your chances seem to be higher. Like there's a straightforward path if you kind of pick one. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'll figure it out. I'll tell you maybe.
Yeah.
I'll broadcast it right here if if I know it. What advice do you wish you got before you went to CAP?
I wish someone just told me to work harder.
What?
I feel like the reason I work hard now is because I feel like I used to be like lazier.
Okay.
I don't know how true that is, but like.
When did it kick in then? When did you find out that you have to work hard? And
I think it just kind of happened because I wasn't getting the momentum that I wanted when I was around like about when I met you, and then I was like, oh, this doesn't like feel right. Like I'm not working very hard at my craft, and I'm not like when I was in school. Like I went to like in the idea program. Like it's for a lot of the people there are designers, so like I just like. Me and like maybe like 3 other people were really good at drawing, and the other people were just like good at drawing, and so like I didn't have to try to make this thing look good because like I knew what I could already draw a hand, so like it wasn't like or whatever it is that we were drawing, so like it was easier, so I didn't try hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it's not that the results were good. I just mean like. I could have, if I had pushed myself, then it would have made my life easier now, because then I would already have those skills, then I wouldn't have to be pushing them now. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting before we started that you're saying how you thought you would have accomplished a lot more by now, which is kind of such an interesting way to put it, because it's like everyone wishes, or I mean the reality is you're never going to it's just like you'll always want more. You know what I mean? That way.
Yeah, it's true. I want to just take the whole world and gobble it up. Like
Yeah.
if I could, like I just, I'm trying. Like I always want to be better, and I always want to push myself a lot.
And is it specifically drawing, or are you just talking about?
Yeah,
everything?
just in drawing and just making sure that like I'm a good, decent person, and like everyone around me is treated well, and like that. Those type of things are like important to me. And I just want to make good things. And I always want to push myself harder. And a lot of people like tell me like, oh, you're doing so much though. And I'm almost like, it doesn't feel like it though.
No, I can relate to you. I don't know if I do as much as you, but it's definitely, I think it's not
it's comparable.
I don't know, but it's never really the phrase that you want to hear. And even if you do, it does nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you already, but that's not, that means nothing.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, like, that when you're like, oh, I'm like, I'm so lazy or whatever, and they'll be like, what? You're crazy, like, and I was like, that's not what I want to hear. I want you to tell me that I suck and I'm a piece of crap, so that I do more work.
Just
like,
a little bit, not all the time, but yeah.
Yeah, like, people want, in general, I think, don't really work like that, which is something I had to learn. Like, when I say that, it seems really negative, but it's like I was saying to you, like, I have enough like self-respect that I can like be mean to myself when it comes to like work ethic and those type of things, because like if I'm hard on myself, it doesn't affect my mental state. Like I'm not like, it's not like I stopped respecting myself. It's not like I don't like who I am. It's just like I'm hard on myself so that so that I can accomplish the things so that like my abilities are what I want them to be, and then like my place in life is something that I actually deserve, rather than just that I just got it for some whatever reason.
Yeah, this is really well said. But it also sounds like it's. I guess it's odd because there's never an end. There's no point where you get it and you're like, oh, finally, I did it.
No, it'll never happen, and I love that. Like I will never stop working really hard, and it like when you finally make something that you think is good, just lie to yourself and tell yourself that it sucks, so that the next thing is even better.
I think what's great about what you're doing is that the projects you do are quantifiable, and there's an end and then there's a beginning to something. So in that pursuit of trying to be better, I think at least there's these satisfaction points where you can still know that you're not as best as you can be, but there's multiple good things that come with finishing a book or something, or a song, and then people get to enjoy it, and rather than like, it's not like you're creating something in one room and you never show it to anyone. Yeah.
It's nice finishing something like it's like this happens a lot in music, I think, where people will like bedroom shred or whatever and make albums in their room and never show it to anybody. or their band will work on a song for like a year and like never record it, and like I've been in bands a lot, so like what I always do is just like I just record it and get it out, and then go on to the next thing. It's always important to just like make lots of stuff, and just get rid of it, so that get rid of all your bad ideas. We're all full of them. It's like it's like drawing too. Like when you're drawing, you're just trying to get rid of your bad drawings. Like the more you draw, the less of them are inside you. That's why
I know some artists who just like, well, I guess the warm-up drawings are for that, right?
Yeah.
Just do a couple of crappy ones before you, Oh, man. Yeah. So I have to process all of this now. It's too much to think about. I'm very excited to see your next book. I'm curious to see how you approach that.
I still have like 20 pages to draw on it. It's like the biggest one, so.
Nothing for you. More coffee.
More coffee.
More drugs.
Ugh. Coffee's my favorite one.
There you go. Thanks so much for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it.
No
problem. How do people find you?
I'm like the easiest person to Google if you can spell my name.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else with my name.
You're special.
I'm a special boy.
Tell you that all the time.
Just while I'm sleeping, you're a special boy. You're a real special boy. Yes, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, my website, like all the things. I'm there. It's just my name.
Stefan Tosheff.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure to spell it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Find that fella. He's amazing. And then you're in too many bands. I wrote down there's Guilt Trap, Cloudhood, Yes Bear. Are those still active?
Yes, Bear and Cloudhood are. Guilt Trap broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Guilt Trap.
Oh, it's okay. Guilt Trap broke up, so me and another guy started a new band. That's where I was this morning. But
and what is this one?
We don't have a name yet.
Oh, okay.
We don't have a name yet. So,
Okay.
but we're just like working on we're doing pre-production right now. So we're just trying to figure out what songs to choose, how we're gonna do
math
it.
metal.
It's not math metal.
Oh, damn it. Okay, well.
It's just like a fun rocky type of thing.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. Well, thank you so much.
No problem, man. Thank you.
All right, good people of the world. Thanks for listening. Luckily, nobody died today across the street, right?
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, those close calls, but we're okay. We'll just put up a sign here. No accidents for that many days. Anyways, no, it'll be terrible. Thanks for listening. If you want to learn more about Creative Theory Podcast, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, and that's it. Or just say hello to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a super cool artist, if you claim to be so, get on here and we'll talk about it. All right, thank you. Otherwise, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.